attractiveness usually leads to positive things for individuals who are hot. But there is one massive downside based on a massive study that was done by various universities, which include Harvard, the University of Laverne, and Santa Clara University. They wanted to see how being physically attractive impacts relationships, whether it be regular love interest relationships or marriages. And what they found was that there's actually a huge downside to being hot. So they found that through various experiments that you have a greater likelihood of relationship disillusion, briefer relationships, and also decreased effort in relationship maintenance. Okay, so they did about 4 different experiments or studies to kind of come up with these conclusions, and here's what they found. So in the first study of 238 individuals, researchers found that those rated as more attractive in high school yearbooks were married for shorter durations and more likely to divorce.
Yeah. I'm not sure I would have been in that category, so I feel a little good about this news. Oh yeah, at least my marriage is gonna last longer.
Okay.
Take that.
So then they looked at the IMDb profiles of various celebrities and then had people rate the attractiveness of these celebrities and then looked into their relationship history. Here's what the researchers found. More attractive celebs were less likely to stay married and experience briefer marriages. Okay. So let's look at the final experiment, which I thought was interesting. In study 4, good looks hurt relationships because they predicted increased interest in attractive alternatives among those who were dissatisfied with their relationship.
Ding, ding, ding,
yeah,
we've got a winner.
I mean, I'm surprised Harvard did this study, but whatever. I think it's the most obvious thing in the world. I think cheating relies almost solely on what your opportunities are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can be the strongest person ever, like strong-willed, like, oh, I love my significant other, but there's gonna be like a lull in your relationship at some point. And if some hottie is trying to like rub up against you, like what are you gonna do? You're gonna say no? Like you should, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah, so it's the oldest adage there is. It's just, how likely are you to cheat depends on how much opportunity you have. Right? And it depends on, as Hannah's saying, honestly, how strong the other person is coming at you. It also might slightly depend on if you're a guy or a girl, right? So why do you think celebrities get divorced more often, which they do? It's because they have all the opportunity in the world. If you're a random dude in the middle of Wichita, no offense, but are hot girls throwing themselves at you at all times? Probably not. I know I'm a random dude in the middle of LA and hot girls aren't throwing themselves at me. And even now, right? Even now when we have a little higher profile, ain't nobody throwing themselves, before, ain't nobody throwing themselves at me, right? So, but if you're David Beckham or you're Brad Pitt, or you name it doesn't have to be just Brad Pitt. There's a million of those guys and nonstop attractive women propositioning them. At some point, they will break.
Yeah, well, the incredible thing about David Beckham is that he's had a long and seemingly happy relationship. I wish them all the happiness in the world. But I feel like he's more of an anomaly, whereas a lot of people do experience temptation throughout their relationships. And look, I think it mostly has to do with, yes, opportunities, but also your satisfaction in the relationship, right? So, people cheat for different reasons. I think that the reasons for cheating vary based on gender as well. I think for women, there's a lot of issues with like, I don't know, how involved your partner is, whether or not you feel emotionally connected, whether or not he's, responsive to your needs. Like those are the kinds of things that might convince a woman that it's worth cheating. And with men, it's, does she have tits? Like, okay,
you might be oversimplifying a little bit. Actually, one thing that leads—
I'm being unfair to men, but
okay.
Not really.
One thing that leads men to cheat more, according to the studies, is their wife giving them enough validation, right? So that's both understandable and a little sad, right? But so they look for validation and they go cheat. That's very common, whether you're a celebrity or not a celebrity, or whether you're attractive or not attractive. And you don't have to be a celebrity or rich, by the way. That's just 1 out of the 4 studies. It's just, it makes sense. Speaking from a probability perspective, if you're more attractive, you're more likely to get more opportunities and likely to have shorter relationships and and have ones that are more likely to break up. But also there's one other thing that I found interesting. One of the first things you mentioned there, Anna, decreased effort in relationship maintenance. So if you're hot, you think like, I'm hot, I don't have to do anything here, right? So I'm not gonna bother putting much effort into this relationship. What's he gonna do, break up with me? Are you kidding me? Or what's she gonna do, break up with me? No, I'm hot, right?
Yeah.
So, and it turns out, no, relationship maintenance is actually the most important thing.
It's very important. And that's, I mean, at least with marriage, I know, and I've only been married for a short time, that it takes work. It takes constant work, right? To remain involved in each other's lives and to keep the fire alive and all that stuff, because we're humans, right? And you can only cook a steak so many times or so many ways. Like sometimes you want some shrimp, right? Or I don't know, lobster or something different. But you gotta like keep convincing yourself that you want steak. And that's maintenance, that's relationship maintenance.
I'm not sure that that's the only relationship maintenance or really the focus of this story, but I do see what's going on a little bit here.
By the way, anyway, no, I'm gonna stop myself before I get in trouble.
Okay.
I love steak, guys, love it.
Okay, and look, maybe there's a slight counter effect too, which is that if your partner is hotter, maybe you are more likely to stay with them, right? At least they continue to be attractive to you, and so that's a slight upside. But overall, we now have the jury's in. So the slight downside to being attractive is, well, your relationships are more likely to end and end quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we edit out the part where I talked about steak and lobster?
No.
Okay.
No. Related to this story, I'm going to tell you in the post game about this crazy thing our high school did for the really attractive girls and guys in the class. We did a slave auction.
Jeez.
Oh my God. Okay, so this was back in 1988. It was in New Jersey. What in the world was that slave auction? And why did we do it? And what were the ramifications? And did we think that it was a big deal or not? So I'll tell you that in the post game for the members at tytnetwork.com/join. Become a member, get the whole show, get the post games, and you'll find out that story as well.